So today I thought I would film for you all a bit of a different video. I have recently started back up on Slimming World after doing it last year for my wedding, and I have started back up because obviously, as many of you know, I had a baby 9-10 weeks ago now, so I still have a bit of baby weight to lose. With my first son, I was really ill in my pregnancy, and all of the weight plus a little bit more just fell off. This time round it was a bit different. I wasn't as sick and I did eat a lot more, and unfortunately I'm about half a stone heavier than what I was when I fell pregnant. So I have that to lose, plus I still want to lose a little bit more from my honeymoon from last year, and obviously a little bit more than that. So I thought today I would film for you all just a quick video about my first week at group. The reason why I'm filming this video is because last year when I did do Slimming World, I did it all online, and it was a very different experience. I did it all online by myself, and I didn't really have anybody to answer for. I just answered to myself. I logged in, weighed online, and did it like that. I also used Instagram very heavily and I met a lot of friends via Instagram of women that were getting married in the same year as me and in the same locations and things like that really. And I really did enjoy it. But this time around I've decided to go to group, which is extremely different, and it's quite a bit out of my comfort zone as well. The idea of having to go to somebody and have them weigh you and have them know if you've gained or lost or maintained or whatever it may be. I've never had to answer to anyone else before. I've never ever let anybody else know my weight before or anything like that, so it's a bit of a different experience. But I was pleasantly surprised when I did decide to go, and I went to my first group a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, well actually, I haven't been able to find any videos on YouTube to tell me and explain how the first group went and how it goes and how you may feel after you've sat and had your first group. So I thought I'd do a little video just kind of giving you a bit of information about how the group goes when you first go in on your first session and what happens. So for me, I decided to go with my sister, so it was a bit of a help having somebody to come along with me. Now I remember I actually went with my mother-in-law quite a few years ago to a Slimming World group, and we walked in, and when we walked in everyone was clapping each other, and I was like, oh god, I don't think this is my cup of tea. And since then, obviously, like I said, I did it online, but I know so many people from my husband's cousins and nans and my nan that go to group and physically go there and who've lost a lot of weight and do really well. So I thought, well, I'm gonna try it out. So me and my sister went. My sister's been before, but I really just didn't know what to expect. We went along, and when you first go in, you're pulled aside by the group leader. There's a little area where you can have teas, coffees, water, whatever it may be, and all the new people that are going to be joining that week sit in a little area where all their information is, their magazines and all their packs and everything like that. Meanwhile, everybody else in group is doing their own thing. There's a long queue of people waiting to get weighed at the front, and everyone's kind of just having a chit chat and a natter, and nobody really worries about you, so you don't feel like you're the sore thumb that's just standing out from the crowd or anything like that at all. The group leader then sits you down for about 20 minutes. She runs through everything that you may need to know related to Slimming World. Now obviously I'd done it before, but there were certain members that hadn't done it, so she literally just runs through everything you may need. So she gives you one of these, which is kind of going to be your Bible, I guess. It's your book, and it has everything in it you may need to start Slimming World. Now one of the most important things that you get in your pack is this Love Food Optimizing book. It comes with your card, which is obviously your kind of dedicated card that kind of tracks all your weight loss and everything like that, and whether you attend group and things like that. But inside it literally has everything you can think of to guiding you through Slimming World, from SIND food to free food, SPE food. And the way that basically Slimming World works is, for me, the reason why I'm going back to it is because it's a lifestyle change and it's not a diet. And so many people think Slimming World is a fad diet, and I really don't believe that. For me, the reason why it worked so well the last time is because it was just a case of being more aware and more educated on food, I guess. Knowing to swap out all those greasy oils for a healthier fry light option or something like that, and knowing that this bar of chocolate is quite highly sinned, whereas you could get another bar of chocolate that wouldn't be as bad, and just kind of making those decisions to think, well actually, what do I want to do? And it doesn't neglect you from eating things. You are still able to enjoy treats and enjoy chocolate and enjoy anything else that you may want. You're still allowed fizzy drinks. There are so many things that you're still allowed, and there's nothing that's ruled off at all, but it's just about remembering to keep those in your sin levels. So you get free foods, which are things like, oh god, your carbs, your potatoes, pasta and things like that. You also get a lot of meats that are free, and the majority of meats are free and included. You then have things like your speed food, which are basically foods that are going to increase your metabolism and make you burn and lose weight faster. They include a lot of fruits, green leafy vegetables and things like that. And then you've also got your sinned food. Now obviously you've guessed it, sinned food is pretty much anything that's going to be naughty for you and anything that might contain sugar and fat. So for example, an avocado, even though it's quite healthy, it can be sinned, and it is sinned, and it's quite a high amount of sins as well because of the way that it works towards this program. But the majority of the stuff is things like your crisps, your chocolate, your desserts, alcoholic beverages and stuff like that, but you can still enjoy all those. If you're a woman, you get between 5 to 15 sins as an estimate, although everybody is looked at in their own way, so you may be entitled to more or less dependent. You do or don't have to use them. They are there to be used. I tend to find that when I was using them before, I was doing super strict, so I didn't have any sins until maybe I would do a night after my weigh-in, and maybe I would have a little treat then, and that was just to kind of boost and enhance my weight loss more than anything. But you can use those sins for drink, alcohol, whatever it may be, whether you choose a bar of chocolate. So for example, a really small bar of Curly Wurly is 3 sins, and one of those really big ones is 5 sins. A packet of hula hoops is 5 sins. So for example, you have 5 to 15 sins a day. So if you had a bar of chocolate and some crisps as a little treat and stayed on plan for the rest of the day, you would still have 5 sins left over. So there's a lot of flexibility in the routine and in the way that it works. And for me, it was more about, I can now make family meals for us all, including my son, that we can eat, and it's cutting out those takeaways, and it's cutting out those horrible greasy foods and those pre-made foods that aren't good, and just kind of really stripping it back. Now for me, I find that with Slimming World, it's all about food prep, meal planning, figuring out what you're going to do, doing that grocery shop at the beginning of the week so you've got all the food in that you may possibly need, and just being prepared, because it's when you're not prepared that you suffer. And Slimming World also offer frozen food packs now as well, and so many people I'm assuming may have tried the Weight Watchers ones and a lot of frozen meals that you stick in the microwave, and they're not good. But honestly, the Slimming World ones are amazing. Even my husband, who does it alongside me, believes so as well. So they are definitely filling. He's a 6-foot grown man and he finds them filling too, so I really won't worry about that. But back to the group. So you go to group, she obviously explains pretty much what I've explained. So you've got your book where obviously in the back you've got a guide to how many sins are in all your foods, even things like takeaways, Chinese takeaways, Indian takeaways and things like that. There's also a little area where at the end of the group you get weighed, and when you get weighed she obviously puts down all your weight. Before that, you go and join the group after everyone else has been weighed, and they kind of do a run through of Slimming World news, things that have kind of been in the news for Slimming World. Then you run around group and you discuss everyone's weight loss, gains or maintains, and there's never anyone that judges you. Everyone is completely fine, no one judges you. Everyone kind of encourages, congratulates and gives advice. So if you have had a bad week, they'll give you advice and say to you, well, why do you think that is? So obviously you go through all that, you go through those processes, and then at the end of group you go and get weighed, and that's when you set your targets. That's pretty much how that first week works. Like I said, in your pack you get the optimizing book. You also get your Love Friendship, Love Slimming World group book, which comes in the pack, and it's just kind of got inspirational stories, and it tells you a little bit about, say, how Club 10 works. So Club 10 is basically once you've lost 10% of your body weight, you get an award for losing 10%. So it tells you what that is, it tells you your BMI, there's kind of stories in there, motivational stories, so it really is a good book to read. You've also then got another book here, which is your menus and motivation book, and again, for anyone that has never done Slimming World before, there's some menus in there. You can also log on online, and I use it all the time. You can track sins and calories, so you know exactly if you do want something how many sins are going to be in it, and then you can make a judgment call as to whether or not you want to eat that or not. And for me, when I look up some sins and find out how much is in something, it really puts me off. So for example, I picked up some pre-made cocktails the other day. They come in a can about this big, and they're about £1 per can, and I picked them up from Asda, and I went to go and have one, and I thought, actually I'm just going to check the sin allowance, and there was 8 or 9 sins in this one can of small cocktail. and I couldn't believe it. Now for me, I normally drink Southern Comfort and lemonade, and that would be just 5 sins for my Southern Comfort, and I have diet lemonade with it. So for me, that would have been a much better choice, and I enjoy those more anyway. So it's kind of, again, just weighing up what it's going to be, and I chose to have my Southern Comfort instead of my cocktails. For anybody that's never used Slimming Well before, then obviously this recipe book is a good guide, but like I said, there's online, lots of people share advice in group, and obviously you can buy books as well. So I have quite a few books of like fake weight books and things like that, which obviously I'll show you over the coming weeks of ones that I use. And the last book that you've got is the Love Life, Love Body Magic, and Body Magic is basically their way of encouraging you to get a bit more active and exercise a little bit more. Now I actually have a broken foot, so for me that's a bit of a struggle. I am still active, but just limited to what I can do from my physio and my doctor and my consultants. However, they obviously encourage as much as possible if you can, but like I said, Slimming World really is a diet, and like I said, a change in lifestyle that anyone can follow. And if you can't do the exercise, that's fine, because you will still follow and lose weight just following the plan in itself. Now you also get given these are little extra easy food diaries which you can fill out. They've basically got the days of the week that you can fill out down the side of them, and you basically put in your speed foods, free foods, your healthy extras, which is something I didn't mention, but you basically get healthy extras, an A and a B, and that's basically your dairy and more of like your carby foods such as your bread and fibre and stuff like that. Actually it's more your fibre, that's what I should have said. So your healthy extra B is your fibre, and your healthy extra A is your calcium and dairy and things like that. So you get a certain limit as to how much you can use. So if you like your cup of teas, obviously you can use your milk. If you like cereal, if you like toast, then obviously you can count it instead of having to sing your bread, for example. And you can fill these out, and it will help you track how you're going for the week, which your consultant can look at for you and give you some advice. I haven't really been filling these out because obviously I've done Slimming Well before, so I pretty much know how it works, and I don't really struggle with pinpointing when I've had a bad day, because I know exactly what it is if I have had a bad day. And for me, it's all about preparation. That is the biggest key. But like I said, obviously that is basically a rough outline of how your first week goes, how the group goes, and then what would happen is next week when I go in, I know that I'll be the first person to be weighed. Well, not the first person, but I'll be weighed along with everybody else when she obviously does the introductions with the rest of the new starters, and then I will now be part of that group. Well, I hope that's all given you an insight as to how the first week goes. If you did like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back shortly with my first week weigh-in, so please stay tuned for that, because there was a loss. See you all soon, guys. Bye.